So in this video, I'm going to answer the question of why activism? Why am I speaking out and taking this step? And because a lot of times people will just say, oh, just leave it behind, move on, get on with your life, forget about them. But, this is an experience that will never leave you. And I believe that part of the healing process for some, such as myself, not necessarily for everyone, is activism. I know that I can have a voice. I was very, very lucky and did not experience the trauma and abuse that thousands, if not millions, have experienced at the hands of this organization. Sorry, I got an itchy nose. I mean, there's a certain amount of trauma a person experiences with any cult, but mine was very mild in comparison. And so I think for me, even though I don't have that experience to speak to others about, I do have a voice, and I know that these experiences have been had, and I can just it's just so overwhelming for me to imagine that people have suffered so much at the hands of this organization, which says it is God's organization and it presents itself as such a wonderful group of people who are honest and trustworthy and caring and loving, and they're not. Now, I'm not saying that what is called the rank and file aren't trying to be that way. I know as a Jehovah's Witness, I would try to find the people that I related to because I was honest and trustworthy and a caring person, even though I was a Jehovah's Witness. And I know there were other people just like me that were in there and still are. But while I was a Jehovah's Witness, I'd look for them. I'd try to find them, and those are the people that I would hang around with and feel comfortable with. They were few and far between, to be honest. And I know as a Jehovah's Witness, in my previous video that I just did, I discussed how at a certain point in 2005, that was when I really started to wake up. Well, not really. That was the beginnings, the inklings. And in order for me to cope with the rotten people in the organization that I would encounter, and these rotten people could be even elders, I decided that there were two types of people that were Jehovah's Witnesses. There was the people that were there for the right reason because they really wanted to love God, and they did love God, and they cared about people, and they cared about the Bible and what it really had to say. And then there were the people who were just there to control other people. And yeah, I saw this while I was in, and I had to put people in those kind of categories. So I would look for the people who were in the first category and were good people, and I would avoid the other ones. And so that's probably one reason I avoided a lot of possible abuse and trauma, because I just take them to the radar and I found the right people to be with, and I never expressed my beliefs that were contrary to Watchtower to many people. Where was I going with this? Oh, so the activism, yes, the topic of activism and why one would choose to speak up. And it's because we have a narcissistic cult here that, and if you understand narcissism, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They present this picture of wonderful on the outside, and they love to hear the accolades and the great feedback of how wonderful they are. Oh, I'm an employer who only hires Jehovah's Witnesses because they're so honest, and you hear those kind of stories all the time at the different conventions and assemblies. And so you have this view that the many in the world have of this organization, And yet, once you get to know the organization intimately, then you see where it's really not that way, and it is putting on this facade, and it actually is a selfish, hateful sociopath. And this personality trait is in people, and it's in this organization. And because of that, and I have a voice, I'm speaking up. I know there's a lot of people that their trauma is so deep, it runs so deep that they can't, and that's okay. That's perfectly all right. What matters is taking care of themselves. So I'm here to speak up for them. I love them, and I cry for them. My heart is torn in two for them, because they should never have experienced this, and it's just heart-wrenching. Like I said, it's torn me in two for them, and I can't fix it. And it's not my job to fix it, but you want to. You care so much for people who are downtrodden and kicked and treated like dirt, and they never deserved it. And that makes people question whether there's even a God. And I know, oftentimes it makes me question it. It's a question that I have now, and that's another video to talk about that. And but you can understand why people wonder if there's a God, because of all the suffering. And Jehovah's Witnesses like to throw this explanation out at people. They'll come to your door and they'll say why does God allow suffering? You'll have a magazine with it on the front of it, because that's the big question, and they have their explanation, and it's not good enough. I'm sorry, I don't feel that's a good enough explanation. At least right now, it's not. Belief is something that is constantly changing for me at this point, and that's okay. I'm fine with that. And but I'm going to keep up with activism, because if there is a God, I know that that's where he wants me to be. So, and that's where I want to benefit this world now. And that's one way to do it, is to be an activist and speak out and do what I can. I can't do as much as others, but maybe my videos and other ways that I can come up with will be just that bit that's like a ripple. You put a little ripple effect with the pebble in the water, and it makes this ripple. So anyhow, all right, great talking to you again. Hope you've enjoyed it, and that you'll be back again with my next one. Love you all so very much. You all matter, and I love to see y'all. Take care. Bye.